What's going on, fellow A-plussers? It's your boy, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new video for you guys today as we're going to be getting into your live viewer questions. That's right, guys. We're going to be wrapping up your live viewer questions from this past weekend on A+ Hero Report. The questions that we unfortunately did not get to answer live on air, we will be answering those up in a follow-up video that this will, in fact, be dropping on Tuesday for you guys. So thank you very much for everybody's patience and everybody's participation once again for certainly coming through and submitting questions. If this is your first time coming over to our channel, maybe even checking out our live viewer questions section, just so you would know, every Sunday live at 11 a.m. Central Time, we have a show called A+ Hero Report, a weekly show. And at the end, our viewers submit live viewer questions. If you'd ever like to go ahead and submit a live viewer question, how do you go about doing so? Pretty simple. For the most part, just go over to our YouTube page, which I'll go ahead and pull up right now for you guys. And on the YouTube page, there is, in fact, a tab to click on for community. So click on that community tab, guys. And usually on Wednesdays or after Wednesday in the week, we will be posting a live viewer question post. And once that's up, feel free to go ahead and submit your question over. So we did start off yesterday with tackling quite a few of these, but there's still some for us to go ahead and get through. So let's go ahead and pull that up here. Let these questions load. We're going to sort by newest first. I'm trying to see if I can remember off the top of my head where we left off at. I want to say Michael Rhymes is next. Yeah, because we got the Blossom question from Turbo in regards to Power Rangers Turbo. So we will be starting off with Michael Rhymes today. And why is it why am I getting, oh, you know what? Boom, there we go. That looks so much better for me. Add some color to this stream, why don't we? All right, guys, let's go ahead and tackle these questions. Michael Rhymes, what do you think 2022 being the end of Clark Gregg's aka Agent Phil Coulson streak in the MCU? I read that this marks the first year since 2009 that no MCU projects have featured Greg Coulson, a 12-year consecutive appearance streak that hasn't been matched by any other Marvel actor, according to the Direct. He says, I remember Agent Coulson being in Captain Marvel, but de-aged. It was really cool and fit the whole already being an agent thing in the 90s. He and Nick Fury were the ones to establish Captain Marvel as the first superhero in the MCU before Steve Rogers was unfrozen as Captain America. Would you like to see him one more time, or should he retire just like the character of Phil Coulson? That's a crazy stat line for Clark Gregg. Consecutive streak from 2009 to 2022, this being the first year he's not in an MCU project. I'm assuming they're counting every season also of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's a part of me that almost feels like that's like hard to believe. I'm trying to clearly I can't remember every MCU project that he certainly appeared in, but I might have to go back and Wikipedia Agent Phil Coulson and see where he certainly popped up in to be there for so many years, because to me that's just bananas to have at least one appearance each year during that time. That's a crazy stat I'd never heard of before, so I'm glad you wind up bringing that to my attention. Would I like to see him one more time, or should he retire? Look, I'm cool with at least one more time. I really enjoy Clark Gregg. I think he made an amazing Phil Coulson, helped motivate, form, and bring the Avengers together at the very end of the first Avengers movie. He's been, kept alive in secret, if you will, from everybody in the MCU for the most part, with the exception of Nick Fury. So listen, would I like to see him again? Absolutely. I think right now I think the only chance we get the opportunity to see Phil Coulson back anytime soon, I would probably say Secret Invasion, since we've got Samuel L. Jackson returning as Nick Fury. Listen, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans have been adamant for quite some time for the MCU to at least recognize Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And just considering just how separate the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show has been from the MCU is quite startling. They always made it adamant. They always made it a point to say it's all connected, right? And there's a part of me that still very much believes that, but for some reason, when it comes to the MC, when it comes to Agents of Shield, the show has always referenced the MCU, but the MCU never referencing them, to say the least. But I think from just comic book wise, Secret Invasion storyline might open up that door. I only say that because in the comic book Secret Invasion, part of Nick Fury's like secret group that he puts together are people that have been very much underground or kind of being kept in secret. That so secret, in fact, that the scrolls were not able to infiltrate these people and copy them, right? And so for me, like what I'm envisioning when it comes to Secret Invasion, I think this would be a great time to implement, Chloe Bennett, bring her back as Daisy Johnson. Quake is on Nick Fury's team in the comic books. I can't remember if Phil Coulson is on Nick Fury's team either. But hell, I would take Nick Fury. Excuse me, I would take Agent Coulson. I would take Quake, and I would take the Cavalry any day. Give me Agent May. I doubt all three of them will certainly pop up in a Secret Invasion. But if I had to put my money on anybody, I would probably say Chloe Bennett and Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson and Quake. But that's just my speculation. I think if there is an opportunity for him to come back, that would be it. Outside of that, I think his time might in fact be done. But we'll see. We'll see what the Secret Invasion series is all about. Adam Perea, what's up, my handsome twin? He says, in Power Rangers Beast Morphers, aside from the human Blazing Roxy, do you wish that we had more backstory on Commander Shaw and on how Grid Battle Force came to be? I feel like we didn't get much insight on her of why she became a commander and if she also made Ravi interested in becoming a ranger. Things like this really make me appreciate the huge significant improvement of the writing in Dino Fury, thanks to the leadership of Simon Bennett. Look, for me, I don't necessarily know if I need to know the secrets or the behind the scenes or like the origin stories of everything per se. I think everybody certainly plays their role. Like Commander Shaw, for the most part, was such a big part of it. With so many focus episodes on Ravi, while I do think that those focus episodes on Ravi definitely did help build up Commander Shaw, I even really loved like the art episode that we had of really getting to see just the mom side of Commander Shaw for a little bit and her relationship with Ravi. And so for me, maybe a little bit more insight in regards to Commander Shaw probably would have been pretty cool, just to kind of see not her upbringing, but how she at least became a member of Grid Battle Force. As far as how Grid Battle Force came to be, no, I don't really. I don't really need to know all of that. If anything, I just really want to know the background of the main characters and the more important characters of the show itself. So for me, maybe yeah, more about Commander Shaw. I didn't really need to know more about Grid Battle Force other than that. But yeah, Commander Shaw would have been great, and I really did enjoy her in Beast Morphers. Kenny, what's up, Kenny? I'm not sure if you caught up to Power Rangers Dino Fury, but the way the two of the Rangers revealed their identities to their loved ones were simply beautiful. My question to you is, what other seasons of Power Rangers do you remember had some of the best reveals when it comes to Ranger identity? You may choose a moment from any other superhero franchise. Oh, God. Superheroes revealing identities. This is going to be I'm going to pick a superhero franchise. I'm going to stay away from Power Rangers here for just a little bit. I'll see if I can think of one from Power Rangers that really jumps out at me. I mean, aside from just going back to my childhood and remember the reveal of the White Ranger. Granted, it was revealed to revealing a Ranger's identity to a Ranger team. I thought that was pretty fantastic. I'm sure there's probably some other great ones in Power Ranger history. Outside of the one that comes to mind that I think like I thought was actually pretty cool. That was a really great reveal. And it's not even like a superhero reveal. It's if you guys remember Superman Returns, the Brandon Routh Superman movie with Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. I thought one of the cool reveals in that movie was um, Lois's son revealing that he had powers. I think him and Lois had gotten captured and they were on Lex Luthor's ship. And I don't even think at this point Lois even knew that her son had abilities, but I think she was tied up in the bottom of the yacht of Lex Luthor. And I guess they had captured the kid and had him separate from his mom. And I just remember this scene. I believe he like threw like a piano at somebody, or he threw somebody across the room, or he threw something at somebody. I can't remember, but I just remember watching the movie. I was like, what the hell is happening? Like, what is this kid doing? And then it clicks to me, like, oh my god, that's not that dude's son. Like, that's Superman's son. And like, even Lois was surprised, I think. And so to kind of see that kind of come full circle, and then towards the end of the movie, seeing Superman kind of sneak into Lois's son's bedroom and realizing that this is his son and whatnot. I thought was a really touching moment. But when I think of first, I don't know why that kind of popped up into my head recently, but that was a huge reveal to me that really did surprise me. Not a superhero per se, but part of a superhero franchise in a Superman movie, as Lois's son reveals that he in fact does have superpowers and is a true son of Superman. I thought that was pretty awesome. Francois Dupont, what's up, Francois? And real quick, okay, here you go. What do you think of Cam in Ninja Storm being the only Ranger to get his Ranger powers by time traveling to the past to find the Green Samurai amulet? He says one, met his younger version of his parents, specifically met his mom for the first time as an adult and discovered that his father had a twin brother. Two, that brother ultimately became Lothar. I love that this three-part episode gave us Lothar's origin story. Basically, if Cam didn't travel to this past, Lothar would never be banished from Ninja Academy and gone to the dark side. Three, this even indicated that the Green Samurai amulet was initially lost due to Cam in another timeline stole the green amulet without getting permission by his mother, causing a paradox. I just love this episode, and that it was one of the few, if not one of the best ways to do time travel in Power Rangers. I would probably agree with you there. That was actually probably one of my favorite series of episodes in Ninja Storm. But I would agree with you also in the sense the best way to do time travel in Power Rangers, I thought they actually pulled it off pretty well. You also say most notable line from part two, you must trust me on this. You have to destroy him now. If the Sensei did actually destroy Lothar instead of banishing him to space, then the events of Ninja Storm wouldn't have ever happened. Yeah, very ominous quote to certainly say the least. But yeah, I was a big fan of Cam in Ninja Storm. I was really glad when he eventually did get his abilities. But that was a great set of episodes. I definitely agree with you, Francois. John Schuyler might just be me, but I also prefer Jason as the Gold Zeo Ranger. See, I definitely did too. While Trey was the Gold Ranger when he debuted, Jason stayed on as Gold Ranger to the finale. Jason, who was the original team member, became the Sixth Ranger when he was now the one with the coolest suit, weapon, and Zord. Jason even freed himself from his demons, dating all the way back from MMPR when he failed to save Tommy's Green Ranger powers. Whereas in Zeo, when he saw Tommy brainwashed again in King for a Day, he was basically experiencing deja vu, this time seeing the same color he once wore. The only thing that made Jason not superior to Trey was the series finale when his body was slowly rejecting the golden powers because he was human, as a result endangering Jason's life in the process. This showed that the golden powers themselves were beyond the same level as the regular Zeo powers. Do you agree or disagree? Yeah, I would probably agree with that to a certain extent. Especially if the Zeo powers are able to be utilized by humans, but the golden powers clearly are not. It definitely seems as though they're either on a upper echelon of abilities, or maybe they were simply created to not be replicated or be used by humans, for all we know. But I will agree that for me, Jason was my favorite version of himself as Gold Zeo Ranger. He kind of came back as like the biker badass. I mean, didn't he used to have like the bandana and the long trench coat and shit? Long trench coats were back were the thing back in the day when that dropped. Was that the same time like the Matrix dropped, or was that before the Matrix? I can't even remember at this point in time. But yeah, man, Jason was badass as the Gold Zeo Ranger. I loved his costume, I truly did. Alexander, what's up, Alexander? What mismatched team would you like to see? Rangers and villains. Mine would be Lauren as Red Samurai and Izzy as Dino Fury Green, both being two ladies of the first in the franchise. TJ as Blue in Space, Zach as MMPR Black, Jen at Time Force, Trent as Dino Thunder White. Villains Lauren Lord Zed, Rancic, Master Org, Mezagog, Astronema, Tanaya. I like it. Mismatched team. What I like to see. I'll do Rangers. I can't remember all villains' names off the top of my head. Lord Zed and Rancic would definitely be in there. Probably Master Org also. No, you know what? I probably definitely would do Lord Zed, Rancic, and Astronema for sure. Mezagog, the only reason why I probably put Mezagog in there is just because I really loved his design, honestly. I think that's a pretty cool design. But as far as a mismatched team of Rangers, oh man. I definitely do love the Lauren choice. Um, Let me see, actually. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. If I want to just do it across all eras or just pick one particular era to certainly do this in. Um, I feel like I do these lists often, so in my head, I always try and switch it up a little bit more. Like females, I feel like definitely Jen and Lauren for sure for me. If I'm putting together a team of six, I'll even go three females. So give me Zoe from Beast Morphers. So Zoe, Jen, and Lauren, I'll take. If I had to choose three, give me Cole, give me Tyler, and give me Adam Park. Yeah, give me Adam Park. Let's see here. What's the next set of questions we got? All right. Michael, what's up, Michael? What do you think of Gamora returning in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie? Do you believe this is the version of her that we last saw in Infinity War who stayed with Thanos and eventually traveled to 2023? If so, can you already see Chris Pratt's character being very emotional seeing her, considering he and the original Gamora were in a relationship and could even influence Peter in a battle? I'm very much under the impression that, yes, that this is the same Gamora from 2020 that's traveled to 2023 from Infinity War. So I do not believe that this is in fact Chris Pratt's or Star Lord's Gamora that we've known of him, at least since she wind up dying in Infinity War. So if anything, yeah, I do think that this is not his Gamora. And it'll be interesting to kind of see what role she plays in Guardians 3. I'm excited for her because I love me some Zoe Saldana. I will be interested if we get, like who she gets a lot of screen time with. Do the Guardians find her? Does she have her own story arc and then maybe bumps into the Guardians? Are we gonna have a sister bonding moment between Nebula and Gamora? But yeah, I expect Chris Pratt as Star Lord to be overly emotional, maybe some really cheesy one liner trying to convince Gamora that he loves her, sort of thing, and she'll easily reject him on countless occasions. So it should be rather interesting to see what their chemistry is going to be like on screen come Guardians 3. But I am really looking forward to her return. Stuart, happy holidays, everyone. Hope you're all celebrating early. What are your thoughts on the actor of the Green Dragon Ranger Burai from Zoo Ranger, who sent out a tribute video for JDF's passing? He spoke in English. I'm Shiro Izumi, who was a Dragon Ranger in Japan. A sad news has arrived today. I heard that Jason David Frank, who was the Dragon Ranger in the Power Rangers, passed away. I'm shocked by the news of Americans like my siblings. Everyone, please continue to support Dragon Ranger, forever and always a Dragon Ranger. Just seeing this video by the actor brought me to tears, knowing that both him and JDF have made a huge impact on both franchises for being the first official Six Rangers. And does this also tell you how much of an impact Power Rangers has brought to Super Sentai and vice versa? Yeah, I mean, look, one of the things that we've said, one of the things that I said in my tribute video is I think I think the more people that you start seeing give tribute and pay homage to JDF might surprise some people. I think we might think that he's only recognized kind of in the Power Ranger world. But I've seen countless people from just outside of television and movies that have known this guy and that he's impacted and he's touched in some way. Um, Recognize JDF after all these years. You know what I mean? And so for me, when I think of JDF, I think of him as a pop culture icon. And I feel like that's kind of crazy to say. But what I mean by that is that even if you weren't the biggest fan of Power Rangers, but knew of Power Rangers, you knew who Tommy was. You knew his face. You may not have known him as a person, but you know his face. And I think that says a lot from all the tributes that he wind up getting that entire week after he had passed. I mean, from wrestling stars to other celebrities. I mean, music industry people. I mean, the list goes on and on of people that recognize JDF. So the fact that even Super Sentai was touched by this doesn't surprise me totally, but the fact that he even took the time to literally put together a tribute video and say well wishes, I think really does say a lot, and that certainly did surprise me. So I can see why it brought a tear to your eye. I think that's extremely emotional for these two, separated by languages and time, in which they represented these characters, still acknowledging one another and understanding each other's importance. And that's speaks volumes, man. That speaks volumes. So I think that's pretty cool. So thank you for sharing that with me, Stuart. The most talented man in the world has a question for us. How excited are you for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 30th anniversary special? And since we now have the official name of the special, do you think we will get more teases until the official release of the special itself? And how wild would it be if we see potential pictures of the MMPR suits again and even Charlie Kirsch? This might not be true, but I would go bananas if we see Adam and Aisha as other Rangers, or just Adam, considering we both have him and Zach present. I look, one of my wishes and one of my predictions is I would love the Omega Rangers to be referenced in here, and maybe even Zach having the Omega Ranger powers. Since the last person that we saw with the Mastodon powers was Adam Park, if I'm not mistaken. So if you got to share a power coin, or if one person's MMPR Mastodon, what is Zach? And so considering Zach's adventures in space during the Boom Studios run, for me, I think a really great reveal would be making Omega Rangers sort of official to canon. I don't necessarily know if that's going to happen, but it would be pretty cool. I am really excited for the 30th anniversary special. I truly am. It's going to be so great to kind of see these characters back, and just the kind of the storytelling, or what the story arc for this special is certainly going to be. That has me really excited, along with the debut of Charlie Kirsch. What other teases we might be able to get? uh I don't know if they would tease the costumes, or if that's something that you would want to reveal when the Netflix special winds up dropping. Any other teases? I mean, maybe one costume, maybe somebody in one costume. A couple set photos, I think, would be pretty cool. I would even take set photos. If not set photos, then maybe like 4 or 5 first look photos, so we can kind of get an idea of like what we might see in the series. But just some photos that maybe aren't too spoilerish. You know what I mean? So maybe a villain reveal, so we have an idea as to who the antagonists are. Maybe a list of some supporting characters that might be in there, or cameos that might be revealed. Maybe a cameo list would be pretty cool. Costume, theme, morphine sequence. I'd rather really wait for the special to certainly drop. I might be the only one that wants to wait for that, but I prefer to certainly wait. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Adrian Perez, I absolutely love the most recent Hasbro PulseCon we had this past October when we got the official announcement of David Yost and Walter Jones coming back for their 30th anniversary. And then 30 days later, more of the cast from seasons 2 and 3 were also announced, which became an actual full reunion special. Yeah, the Hasbro PulseCon was pretty amazing, honestly. I feel like this was one, or if not the best Hasbro Pulses we've had since the Dino Fury cast were announced as our new team of Rangers. If only the people who did the disappointing Hasbro Fan First Friday on a Thursday from last April had the same energy that they put in for one we just got for the 30th anniversary. They really made up for it by actually giving us our own Power Ranger Hasbro Pulse Day instead of cramming everything into 10 minutes after Hasbro's other toy product announcement. Do you hope Hasbro keeps this energy for future Hasbro Pulse events? Maybe in the next PulseCon, we'll get more announcements for when Cosmic Fury gets closer. I don't know when the next Hasbro PulseCon is, whether or not that's going to be before or even after Cosmic Fury, but that's something to certainly look forward to. Has the Pulse Cons always have so much more energy than Fan First Fridays. I think when it comes to Hasbro Pulse Con events, we can definitely expect big things. When it comes to the Fan First Fridays, though, those are ones in which I really just temper my expectations. Unless it's a Fan First Friday that's very close to the release of a season or one of the shows, then maybe I'll kind of pay attention. But and it's not just the recent Fan First Friday that we had that was just really, really weird. And like the fact that they tagged it on to the end of a Transformers panel, that just felt all sorts of weird. But I do feel like since then, they've had a different sort of energy about them, which I definitely do appreciate. I think it's Pam and Jordan, if I'm not mistaken, the two hosts that we have. I think they're getting more comfortable with each other. I think that's just Pam's personality of the dry comedic humor and awkward social commentary that or social socializing that she might kind of have. That just might be her, the awkward nerdy girl, you know what I mean? We all know one, at least in our lives, so nothing certainly wrong with that whatsoever, but it is definitely an energy level issue. But I do feel like ever since we got that terrible Fan First Friday, things have certainly changed around. But again, when it comes to Hasbro Pulse Cons, I always expect big things and the energy to certainly be there. But unfortunately, when it comes to Fan First Fridays, I will always tell everybody, please temper your expectations, okay? Danny, what's up, Danny? Hey, Adam, did you forget to review the rest of Dino Fury? No, I have not forgotten. I have just been so incredibly busy with a little one that it just falls off of my falls out of my brain from time to time. So I guess sometimes I do forget about reviewing it. Not necessarily reviewing it, but man, I really got to get through this freaking season. Like it's not that I don't want to watch it. Like I'm really pumped to kind of see how this season ends. I just feel like there's just so much going on in my brain and I'm being sort of pulled left and right now. So yeah, working full time, being a full time dad, trying to help around the house and things like that. A bunch of other stuff that we're also trying to review at the same time. So sometimes it can kind of get lost among the mix. But I do plan on finishing Dino Fury. I have not forgotten it. It will be here soon. I promise, Danny. Thank you for calling me out on it, though. George, despite, is this the same thing? Okay, so send twice. Despite what is going on with the DC studios the past 2 days, what do you think of the actor who played John Diggle on CW's Arrowverse shedding some light on the situation by starting his spin-off series called Justice You May Still Be Happening? He replied during an Instagram live stream. I know, and thank you everyone else for sticking with us. The smoke is clearing. Can't be specific just yet, but good stuff is in the works. Furthermore, concerning his ongoing Green Lantern tease, a long story, but stay tuned. Listen, John Diggle and the Green Lantern storyline, listen, they had their chance and they blew it in my eyes. The fact that they literally, as viewers, just like drug us along for like a 5-part John Diggle story across like multiple shows in the Arrowverse, only to reveal to us jack shit in regards to his Green Lantern. Look, man, don't tease me with the green box, that opening of a box and a green light coming out, only to not have accepted it. There's no reason why I needed a 5-part John Diggle explanation, like a 5-part John Diggle crossover for a crappy explanation as to why he decided not to go ahead and take the ring. So, listen, if the Green Lantern thing wants to continue to be a thing, they're going to have to convince me with a badass story to pull me back into that, because I'm not getting sucked into the hype of John Diggle and Green Lantern anymore. It's not happening. As far as Justice You, listen, I'm not going to lie. I am kind of surprised that he's talking about Justice You. Gotham Knights, I believe, is still going to be airing on the CW. I'm worried and concerned that that might be a show that only gets one season, but like I haven't even seen the show yet. I've just seen a lackluster trailer for it. And I don't know anybody that's extremely excited for Gotham Knights. If you are, and if you are excited for it, please go ahead and certainly let me know. So, and just with the transition period of new management of the CW, how much money are they willing to put behind these shows? Will the budget be even lower? What's Justice You even potentially going to look like at the end of the day? And so, is that the type of television that the CW certainly wants to air? So, I definitely don't think we're going to get ourselves a Justice You this year. Maybe for a fall schedule in 2023, we'll see if anything happens. But I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath. It might look good on his end. The smoke is clearing, but I'll believe it when I see it. And when I see it, I'll be scratching my head like, wow, we're still going on with this show, huh? Okay, no problem. So we'll see. And I love John Diggle, and I'm happy for the opportunities that David Ramsey's getting. A bigger connection to the CW, having worked and have formed a bond and relationship with Warner Brothers. He's doing some amazing work in regards to his directing. He's a solid actor. So I definitely want to see more of David Ramsey, whether that be as John Diggle or somebody else, who knows. But I remember that at the time of the announcement of Justice You, I thought it was a perfect opportunity for him. But with everything moving around and Nexstar as the new management for the CW, I don't necessarily know if I have the biggest hopes for DC shows on the CW going forward. But maybe Justice You will prove me wrong, and I'll be more than open to seeing it and hearing it. And then, damn, George, you spammed my thing with like 3 comments, all the same. So I guess maybe it clicked once and you didn't know if it went through, so you kept clicking. But this will be actually our last question for the day. So thank you very much, guys, for everybody that participated in SPD Power Rangers. Was it right with Jack was made the Red Ranger? So I started revisiting Power Rangers SPD for the 100th time, and one of the things I love every time I revisit this series was the rivalry between Jack and Sky. With it, while it was a bit out of left field, making a criminal off the streets the Red Ranger, it was a great decision, because not only did it provoke excellent character development for Jake, but um, for Jack, but for Sky throughout the series. If Sky was made the Red Ranger right off the bat, he would have been just his cocky, arrogant self, who would have talked down to everyone who called him out simply because he was the leader, which is how Jack was at the start of the show when he was made Red Ranger. So seeing Jack, Jesus Christ, man, I feel like Jake and Jack I always stumble on. Act this way made Sky realize that he wouldn't be any different if he was a Red Ranger, because wearing the color wasn't the only thing that made him the leader. This season also showcased this with one line: heroes come in all colors. to top that, to add on top of that, even changed Sky's mind in the series finale when Commander Kruger asked him the same exact question from the first episode. If I appointed Sid as Red Ranger, would you follow her in battle? Sky now changed his answer to, sir, I would follow anyone you found worthy wearing the color red. So yeah, making Jack the Red Ranger, Jake. I hate myself right now. Was the right choice from the beginning. Otherwise, the dynamic between him and Sky would have been completely different and, need I say, pretty generic. It would have been the whole rebel member who defies his leader and does what he thinks is right trope. Yeah, no, I definitely do think it was the right decision for sure. And even though I didn't finish all of Decker Ranger, elements of that mindset definitely do trickle into the Super Sentai series, right? Where it was very much a kid who probably a lot of people would not have expected to be the leader of the team as a Red Ranger, right? Like he was very cocky, very arrogant sort of guy. But the Blue Ranger probably felt he deserved to be in those shoes. And we wind up getting ourselves certainly some clashes between Red and Blue in the series also. So they definitely did take some notes from Super Sentai and adapt them pretty well, I think, if you ask me. But I did love that line, heroes come in all colors. Shout out to TJ for being the first Black Red Ranger leader of a team. It was pretty awesome. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Dino Knights. But yeah, guys, I think that is all the questions. So thank you very much, guys, for everybody that certainly participated. This will in fact be up Tuesday morning for you guys. So certainly look forward to that. But other than that, guys, that will wrap it up for us. So, if anything, again, starting Wednesday or any day after Wednesday, I will go ahead and post up a notification on our community tab for live viewer questions, and you guys can go ahead and start submitting those for this upcoming Sunday's episode of A Plus Hero Report, going live Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Time. So certainly join us there. But until then, guys, as always, do me a big favor: take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A plus. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.